Hello, friends. Welcome in to the Eric Zane Show podcast, a daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures from right here in the cozy confines of the Impact Power Sports Studio. Impact Power Sports, you can find them online at impactpowersportsmi.com. Great folks over there if you want to pick up a Yamaha golf cart or something fun for the kids that has a motor. I like those little ATVs, Lil, L-I-L, Lil ATV, or maybe a Lil motorcycle. You got to be careful, though. The kids have to take a rider safety course. That is not negotiable. Especially those quads. Because I think if you take a turn at 0.5 miles an hour, it flips and rolls like 500 times. And then your kid's a smudge. They also have a great service department. You can head over there, and they'll fix any of the existing gear that you have. Nick writes, those little fuckers would even haul my fat ass at 35 miles an hour. Yeah, those things are fun. But again, you got to be careful. Chris says, ask my snapped in half arm at 11 about that rider safety course. Honestly, they need to make the rider safety course more fun. Like if you complete this portion of it, you get to take a couple of sweet jumps or something like that. Because half that shit goes in one ear and out the other. How many times in history do you think there's been a kid who took a rider safety course and then 1 second after the completion of the course, the kid's airborne like Evel Knievel over Snake River Canyon? I think generally, though, kids, they just don't pay. It doesn't stick with them. They think they're invulnerable, you know? You almost want them. You want to, get the thing and then put them on it and then hope and pray for a wreck where they just get maimed and they'll heal, but then they learn. You're better off, instead of wasting time on the safety course, to doing the old school 1976 drunk dad smoking cowboy killers, and then the kid says, do I need any protection? No, you need a T-shirt. What do I do? You'll figure it out. What if I get hurt? You'll learn. Nowadays, the kid gets the piece of equipment. Dad signs him up for a rider safety course. It takes 4 years. And then the kid's already too big for the thing. 1 second later, he's hitting a tree. Chris says muppety floppity extremities should be a rite of passage. They are. Like Chris experienced that. Now, Chris in Buffalo is a throwback. He's like 70s guy. And that's like the person that you want in your camp. You want guy who is an old soul like that. Rub a little dirt on it. You'll be fine. The fact that you had a muppety floppity arm at age 11, crack-a-lacka muppety floppity, I guess it depends. Now, was it forearm? There's 2 bones in your forearm. And then there's one big one on your upper arm. What was the breakage? And did you have muppety floppity? Or was it just, I think I hurt myself? Okay. Yeah, that's intense. Forearm compound fracture. So that's one where the kid, like, goes into shock. The bone was popping out of the skin, as Rick Pitino once said. Made you a better man. Really did. And then your mom's probably screaming. And your dad's telling her to shut up. He might even smack her to calm her down. That's the way it was back then. But you're not that old. You grew up. I'm guessing you were born about 89, 90, maybe 91. Okay, I was right, 90. So, yeah, I'm not sure how Dad would have reacted. So that would have been 2001 that this happened. The 70s were nuts. You do that type of injury, and then you go to the hospital, and Dad doesn't even know you went because he's bombed. You know? You're up north. You're at the hospital. He's still laying on the chair, on the Barca Lounger lawn chair by the fire with a heater in his mouth and like a 2-inch ash with barbecue sauce on his shirt. Chris says that his dad was a hero. He just grabbed a 2x4, made a tourniquet with a towel, and off he went. Yeah, you probably went out back riding more. Birch Barlow is here. He's talking about his safety talk. Right after my safety talk, I ripped through a trail, hooked a low tree, tore my ear off, which had to be reattached. Fuck helmeted pussies, he says. Okay, you know, I can feel that, and I'm here for it, you know, and that is proof positive that if you do happen to buy one of these great things for your kids, first of all, they're going to love you forever. And then they're going to learn because of their injuries. They're going to get a master's degree in safety. So it's best to get it out of the way. And then you might be like, well, maybe we should just break them in on like an open field to ride. No. Heavily wooded. You want that. No helmet. No eye protection. And just say, all right, hey, well, Dad, what should I do? You'll figure it out. Nick says nothing was better than the old Honda three-wheelers. Yeah, they were like, picture a tricycle, but a motorcycle with big, fat, horrible, big tires. I shouldn't say horrible. They went over everything. Becca Shea is here. My dad didn't even know my name when I was born. He was so drunk. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody remembers their 70s dad drunk at some point, like sloppy. I have a vision burned into my head of my dad laying at the bottom of the steps leading to the basement when we lived in the city of Warren. At my boyhood home, 31291 Maryland Drive. Most of my memories that I have of growing up are not good. It's usually something traumatic. Like I have very, very few memories, if any, of, hey, that was a good time. And that might be everybody. I don't know if any of you can remember something from your childhood that was actually excellent. But a lot of people, you know, I'm not the only one. This is my boyhood home in the city of Warren. Okay, so this window right here, that was my room. all these houses look either exactly like mine, ours, or the one next door, which is the Goldman's house. And we terrorize these people. In fact, the entire school made these folks a target. See that mailbox? It got blown off one time by an M80. I was laying in my bed in this room, and all of a sudden, I'm probably like 10 years old, and my entire room lights up because I swear to God, it was a stick of dynamite. And then I heard the mailbox rolling down this driveway, and I look up, and people are running down the street because they blew up Krabby's mailbox. My brother and I were in this room, and then eventually he went over to this room when the other two brothers left. Other two brothers were in this room. But if you were to go in this house, there'd be a stairwell leading to the basement. And, my dad was shit-faced at the bottom of the steps. This spot right here was where the giant Christmas tree was. And it was so damn big that the city of Detroit asked if they could use it for the centerpiece for their Christmas thing down at Hart Plaza. And a bunch of folks came and chopped down the tree and took it and put it on a flatbed truck. This tree right here in the foreground, I remember the day it was planted. It was put into like a little grower, like a coffee pot, until it sprouted big enough. And now look at that fucker. Easy's trip down memory lane with you. Always a good time. Chris in Buffalo says, "Hey, guy, you hear that bomb?" No, Dad was already gone by then. Megan says, "I just watched a documentary on Hudson's. Did you go there as a kid?" Well, of course. I would go to the Oakland Mall. And I don't know if they had one at the Macomb Mall, but the Oakland Mall was better than the Macomb Mall. All right? If you wanted an opportunity to actually finger blast, you wanted to go to the Oakland Mall. Now, I never did, but the chicks at the Oakland Mall were cuter than the chicks. She says, no, the Hudson's downtown, the OG 14-story building. No, I never went to that. No way. No, we stayed out of Detroit. We had white flight, and that's the way it was back then. We never went to Detroit. I didn't go to Detroit until I could drink, and that was when we could go across the border into Windsor, which the age requirement for drinking was 18 years old. So we would take the tunnel or the Ambassador Bridge into Windsor and get shit-faced and then drive back into the country. And then the customs dude at the border, they were all fucked up. There's three guys in the back seat of the Catalinas, beer cans everywhere on the back dash. We're completely bombed. And he's like, "Where are you coming from?" "Oh, just driving around Windsor. It's a good time." Okay, go on. Where are you going? Warren! All right, get the fuck out of here. Badger says the titty bars. I remember when my friends took me to a titty bar called the $1 Million in Windsor the night before I got married. And I've not been to one since. I was such an idiot. I've told this story before. My groomsmen got me a lap dance. Never been more uncomfortable in my entire life. And I was uncomfortable in general. I didn't like it at all. But this chick was dancing in front of me. And something had happened. And at some point in her life, she suffered a accident or someone hurt her, or I don't know what happened, but there was a enormous scar right where the butt cheek meets like the back of her leg, the hamstring. And I actually said out loud while she was actually standing in front of me and I was looking at her asshole. And I go, look at that scar. And I feel elbows from my pals hitting me. This dude, Kyle, he hits me and goes, shut the fuck up. And later on, I go, what? I have no idea why that was bad. He goes, dude, what the fuck, man? I mean, what if her dad stabbed her or something? You don't point that out. Just shut up. He goes, do you ever just shut up? My God. Badger says, ha ha. Rebecca says, a BBL gone wrong before the BBL was as popular as it is now. I don't know what you mean by that. Nick says that's an HLL stripper. Tyler says, quote, good thing I'm a boob guy. That ass looks weird. I'll never forget her, though, because she turned around and she leaned into my face and she whispered, just relax. And I'm like, fuck, easy for you to say. And she had the prettiest face I've ever seen. Well, I mean, next to my wife, of course. Amy says, oh, my God, Easy's Canada drinking stories sound like mine, too. And there was another time when we went the wrong way out of Windsor, and no one was really paying attention because we were having so much fun. And then we wound up in fucking Leamington. Like, where the fuck is this place? Where are we? Now, you have no GPS. We didn't know where we were lost. I mean, it was very easy to get lost back then. So we had to pull over and get a map. We had to go buy a paper map. So here we are, bombed. The map is huge, all over the interior of the car. This is terrible. Let's just go. And we lay it on the hood of the car. And then we're like, okay, we're right here and we need to get here. So we got to go. And it's all city driving. But we were kind of getting deeper into Canada. And then we kind of figured it out. And we ended up getting back into the U.S. at like 3 a.m, which made it even more suspicious never once got stopped and asked to, have them search our car. They were looking for bigger fish, Megan says, getting stuck in the tunnel, having to pee and puke, always tense and silly as hell, never my car. Black Belt Nick, being told to shut the fuck up so we don't get inspected. Yeah, we had figured it out that they don't give a shit about us. So, by the time we were seasoned veterans going to and from Canada, we just, people were throwing up in the car. The border guards didn't even care. The beer was stronger in Canada then. Yes, it was. Oh, my God. Rebecca says, make sure the front seat passenger had the printed MapQuest directions. Yeah, I'm even before that time. We didn't even have the internet. This is like 1988. I don't even think the internet may have been invented, but only like 3 people were on it at that time. Whenever I see this house in the city of Warren, it takes me back. I don't know about you, if you're the same as me, but I will sometimes just look. I'll just go to this spot on Zillow and look at the house, or else I'll go to Google Street View and just look at the house. I don't know why I like to do this. I do that with this residence. I do it with the homes that I've lived in the past. The house that I owned in Midland, which I bought for $68,000. The homes that I had in Tennessee. In fact, here in West Michigan, I will go out of my way and drive down the street that I lived on before I lived here. And then I said to Pooh Bear, I want to buy that house back. And I actually know I sold it to a friend. I go, hey, if you ever sell that house, I want to buy it back. I don't know why I enjoy that so much. I would love to just go and buy all those homes again. And I don't know why. Piano Finger Banger says it's a nostalgia rush. I'm even planning a trip, and I might have talked about this recently. Something that I thought was destroyed has not been destroyed. The mobile home of rock and roll, Z93, my first commercial radio job in the 90s, early 90s. That's where the Joe and the Poor Boy show started. That mobile home is still there. And I don't know. I don't think it's in use. I think it's just a vacant building on a piece of property in the middle of nowhere, literally the middle of nowhere. I wanna break in and or at least peer in the windows, and it's going to be total. You ever see those people online who explore ruins of like in Detroit, the Grandy Ballroom? That this venue where some amazing acts played back in the day. And anytime I hear about ruins of Detroit and people like looking through old buildings if they're still there, and that's what I'm shooting for. But to get there, I have to walk down a dirt road which has homes by it now, and so I think I'd have to do it. I think I'd like to park my car. Urban explorers, that's what they're known as. Thank you. I was searching for a word, but I couldn't, or a term, but I couldn't quite get it. Thank you. Park my car. There's a high school nearby. Park in the parking lot. And then I'll walk in under the cover of night. And I'll try to, my plan is try to open the windows and get into the dwelling. Because I mean, the memories there. They're burned in my brain, and it's like an itch that I cannot scratch, you know? And so I find that I do this with anything that I have spent any amount of time in. Like my old days at GRD, I want to walk through those halls again, especially I want to see how the renovations are, but nearly everyone in the radio industry in this town hates my guts. I have zero allies at GRD. I'm hoping that they, over time, because it's the way radio works, a lot of times people from one company will migrate over to the other company when they all get fired, and then they'll come back, and it's back and forth. So I'm hoping that over time I'll get an ally that works there, and then I'll say, hey, I want to walk through the halls. But the Z93 thing has to happen, which means I would make a dedicated trip just to go over there for this. I have no other reason other than to see that and to see this old fucking house. Tyler says, doesn't sound like anything could go wrong. And then I will give some great consideration to actually breaking in. I'm just hopeful that they don't have a camera there. Bread Bull Brain Chris says, the old Packard assembly plant is a popular spot to explore in Detroit. Now, is that different than the museum, the Packard Museum? Because the old Packard Vehicle Museum and Proving Ground is literally across the street from my dad's house. They made this vehicle back in the day. And from a bygone era, you can actually get tours of the old Packard plant in the Proving Ground, where they would test drive these old ass vehicles back in the day. Rebecca says, easy show listener road trip to Canada to relive our youth. Stop by to see the new RoboCop statue. Megan says, okay, can you imagine me being the chaperone if I was still driving limo, driving a bus? Tyler says, quote, former FBHW radio host busted for breaking and entering. What about this? What if we come up with these adventures to go on and it's a drawing, and in order to get in on the drawing, it's a Patreon drawing. You buy a raffle ticket for $100. So 5 people will join Pooh Bear and I, and we'll be in the fraud bus. And we will go on these, there you go, big fraud tours. We'll go on these adventures. Oh, my God. We could do shows. I would have to make it fair, though. No special preferences. Now, we all know that these ideas that come up, they never come to fruition if I talk about them on this show. Megan says lame, because I could suspect she was like, I get to go. Proceeds go to the Great Food Giveaway. No, proceeds go to me. Go to the old haunted prison in Philadelphia together and stay the night. Oh, my God. Good times, to be sure. At the risk of getting yelled at by Easy Show audience members, I did my interview yesterday with the Doc of Rock, Doug Podell. I posted it to Facebook. You can check it out. I don't know if I can, if I did as good of a job as I could have in describing to you about how big of a deal this was to me. Had it not been for people like Doug being on the radio and doing what he did, young, impressionable EZ would not have fallen into love with radio. It wouldn't have happened. You have to understand, in Detroit in particular, there's only a few towns where this happened. The radio hosts back in those days, the 1970s, 80s, and on into the 90s, were as popular or more popular than the artists that they were playing on the air. For whatever reason, it was unbelievable. And, well, at least from my perspective. And I watched it. So growing up, I listened to the Doc of Rock, Doug Podell. And I worked with him for a brief amount of time. He was my boss for the 6-month time at the Riff. And he was very kind to me during a very, very difficult time. And he gave me some sage advice. I talk about it in the interview. He said to me, you need to go to a small market like Knoxville. And lo and behold, I got a job in Knoxville. And the rest is history. So we talk a lot about that, about his time. In fact, he started talking about me, and I was like, Doug, I'm not here to talk about you. Or I'm not here to talk about me. I'm here to talk about you. But the dude put in 50 years. And tomorrow is his last day on the air. So if you have any interest in radio talk, because I know a lot of people that do listen to the show enjoy my old radio stories. Well, we didn't get to any of the dirty secrets of radio, because especially back in that day, 70s and 80s, there's a lot of times that the A&R guy would bring you the new Aerosmith with an envelope full of Bolivian marching powder. We didn't get into any of that, but those things definitely happen. So this was a kick in the head for me. And he said, I was asked many times to do podcast interviews for this. And he goes, I turned them all down. And I'm like, oh, my God, this is fucking great. Doug's a legend. Tomorrow's his last day. The interview is on Facebook. There's an audio version of the same interview available on the podcast platform, or there's a link to it on the Facebook post. Thanks to Doug. That was fun. All right. Thank you to the sponsors that help make this show go round. We already talked about Impact Power Sports. I want to mention Merchant Automotive. If you're riding around town in your big-ass truck with a Duramax diesel engine or an Allison transmission and you need any type of service, call upon Merchant Automotive. One of my latest sponsors, MERCHANT, merchant-automotive.com. Now, I know you can probably do the work yourself, but if you get in the weeds, they are in Zeeland, Michigan, and they will help you get right with whatever the problem is. Reach out to them. You can just check out their website. All their contact info is there. Merchant-automotive.com. They also specialize in their fabricating department in creating these top-of-the-line aftermarket kits, which can improve the performance or repair your vehicle with the engine or the transmission or anything on that vehicle, on your diesel truck, if you're a DIY pro. So I suggest you go to merchant-automotive.com for you gearheads and DIY enthusiasts and take a look at the products that can make your diesel truck perform that much better. Merchant-automotive.com. For the folks who are enjoying the show on Facebook, Kick, and YouTube, I'm going to kick you out and recommend that you sign up for the stream on Twitch. That's where the bulk of the show appears, twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. I have a lot more that I'm going to talk about today. That's twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. And if the free show is like, all right, that's great, but I wish I had more, I have a Patreon. You can get to that by going to patreon.com/Eric Zane. That is a pay-for-play platform. If you want my audio from all of my shows that I have on there, you can go to patreon.com/Eric Zane. $5 a month for the audio. $10 a month for audio, video, live streams, live shows, Zooms, and on and on and on. Appreciate you so much if you're already on there. In fact, I make it so simple you can sign up for 7 days free at patreon.com/Eric Zane to try it out. We do a lot of shows there. Probably my favorite show, and I think by the audience standard, in addition to the Ben and Eric Patreon podcast, is Who Are These Free Beers? As we review current episodes of one of America's top morning shows and critique them and give them an air check. And, you know, there have been times that we've been doing that show and we've given them some actually constructive criticism. Most of the time, I'm being mean. Ben, not so much. Ben's more constructive than I am. But it's fucking hilarious. So check it out for free at patreon.com/Eric Zane. 79 episodes of Who Are These Free Beers? Okay, I want you to stay right there. I'm going to head over to the boys' room, and I'll be back momentarily. Sit tight, and we will continue things. Thank you. All right, I'm back. It was fun. Not really. I said that going to the bathroom was fun. I heard from Jeremy K. Once a regular here in the chat, still a listener, but I've got this really interesting update that I'd like to share from Jeremy, and I was very appreciative that he did this, that he sent this along. In case you have forgotten, I'm sure you haven't, Jeremy K. was the guy who, well, not this most recent September, but the one prior to that, he was down in the dumps because he had gotten word that an ex-girlfriend, not that long an ex-girlfriend, when she was dating him, had cheated on him, and he had the blues. Okay? And I think while he had the blues, something came up about how he didn't feel comfortable with his weight. I'm probably screwing some of this up. And I'm not sure exactly how it went at this point. I could have swore, okay, no, I had said to him, I go, well, why don't you lose the weight? Why don't you start today and lose the weight? And that's about the extent of my influence. I don't think I did much more than that. I might have been a little bit more elaborate as to what I was saying. And, well, he did. He just started right then losing weight. And that was the basis for the, what do you call it? The Fat-a-thon. So every week we check in with him. And I think out of like the next year, there was maybe 1 week or 1 or 2 where he gained a little weight. Every other time he lost weight. So he went from north of 335 pounds to where he is now. He lost all of the weight that he wanted. His goal was 200. He actually is under 200. Now, during that time as well, there was a moment on here in the chat when Rebecca, Miss Twat-a-lot, was chit-chatting away like she always does, and so was Jeremy. And there was a little bit of a playful, flirty going on. And then Tophus, I think it was, suggested that they should go out on a date or something like that. He gets a credit for that. Okay? And then, well, they hit it off. Now they're like, peas and carrots. So he lost the weight. He got the girl. By the way, I should point out that while he was losing the weight, his beloved father, Feech, passed away, and his puppy dog passed away. So that was a real bummer, but he didn't stop. This guy, to me, is a role model. I look to him. He just reached out to me. Got some exciting news. I'm stoked about this. Easy. Just want to check in with my current Fat-a-thon progress, as well as some life updates. I'm currently between 193 and 197 on any given day. That's about where I've been since mid-October. I'm very happy with that. I'm teaching myself how to maintain my weight long term, which is how I'm going to turn this into a lifelong change. I'm teaching myself what to do on a day in, day out basis and turning good habits that I have to think about into routines that just come such second nature, so I don't even have to think about it. I think it's going well so far, one day at a time. That's an outstanding outlook. Let me just say that. If you're a fat slob and you adopt this mentality, you will be successful. I can promise you that. In fact, I look to that. As disgusting as I've become, 30 pounds heavier than I need to be. He says, I had two Thanksgiving dinners last week, one with my family, one with Becky's. I only gained a pound for the week. No problem for me. I'm perfectly fine with that. Every once in a while, you have to let it fly. And if letting it fly is only adding a pound, well, that's better than it used to be. And he writes this. This is the best part. Non-fat-a-thon update. I thought he was kidding with this first line. I've been baking cheesecakes a lot lately. It's a ton of fun and a delicious treat. I'm thinking to myself, did he just stumble upon this? Or has he been baking cheesecakes his whole life? You know what's interesting is I don't know the first thing about making a cheesecake. In fact, when they say cheesecake, is that cream cheese they're talking about? Or is it like cheddar? I know they're delicious. I think it's cream cheese. I think I'm getting quite good at being a cheesecake maker. And I have a bunch of ideas for unique cheesecakes that I've never seen before that I want to try to make. I believe I'm going to spend the winter perfecting my recipes, and then I will start selling them in my free time in the spring at farmers markets. This guy is so interesting. Also, I'll sell them at town fairs, craft shows, etc., in the hopes of turning that into my own business. One of the very last conversations I had with Feach, my dad, was about my displeasure with the trucking industry. He's a truck driver. We had this conversation the week before he passed, and he suggested I go to culinary school and follow my passion for food. At the time, that wasn't financially viable. However, things are going pretty well with Becky, and I'm now thinking about selling my house, moving in with her. Boy, I hope I wasn't supposed to keep this a secret. And taking a chance on starting my own cheesecake bakery that also sells coffee and pies. This is a plausible path towards following my dreams as well as honoring Feach's legacy. And it was all made possible due to the chat on your podcast. So I guess he's suggesting these things have fallen in line the day he decided to not be fat anymore. And the argument can be made that that is true. This weekend, easy, I will be working on a new cheesecake recipe. I'm going to make a coffee cheesecake with Biscoff cookie crust and a caramel sauce drizzle. I have about 15 ideas I want to try out, and I'm really hopeful that I'm able to follow through with this. If Fat-a-thon has taught anything about me, it should be that if I set my mind to something, it will be accomplished. Hope all is well with you. I missed the chat, and I still listen to the audio every day. Look forward to helping with the Great Food Giveaway, and I can't wait to see everyone there. Outstanding email. What an update. Skip writes, he's not fat anymore, but he's going to open up a place that sells cheesecakes and pies. LOL irony. I'll support you, Jeremy. He needs a weekly feature in his cheesecake shop. Another way to honor Dad. Feach is in reference to the Sopranos character Feach LaManna. I think there was a picture of his dad that reminded me of Feach. And that takes us back to, in my opinion, hang on.
When you've got a classic ride, you need two.
One of my favorite scenes in The Sopranos. Tony Blundetto and Feach are riding through town, and Feach notices one of the landscapers is working in the wrong neighborhood. And it's all mob. So Feach pulls over to have a word with the guy landscaping property in an area that he shouldn't be in. This is that scene. I love this scene. Robert Loggia is the guy who plays Feech. He's passed on.
Thanks for lunch.
Stick with me, kid. I have you eating lunch like that every day.
I'm serious about this massage therapy.
Well, you should keep a square job like that for appearances. Look at me with the bakery.
Would be a criminal.
I told my cousin I want to stay a civilian.
Ah, yes. The boy king.
The drum.
Can I trust you if I talk to you frankly about him?
Let's talk about something. Okay, but now Feech has to stop his thought because he notices the landscapers. This is where it gets really awesome. In fact, we lifted a great couple of drops out of this scene for the Free Beer and Hot Wings show. You'll know if you know the drops.
What are you doing?
I gotta make a stop. What the fuck you doing?
Excuse me?
What the fuck are you doing?
I'm trimming a lawn.
My nephew does the lawns in this neighborhood.
I've been working this neighborhood for 26 years.
Are you fucking deaf? I said my nephew has this area. Gary LaManna.
Well, fuck off, huh? But I'm busy here.
You want me to fuck off? How about I fuck off all over your stupid fucking face? You fucking mutt, huh? You don't work this neighborhood!
Christ, we're on parole. What the fuck you doing?
That arm break. Holy shit, David Chase. Absolute legend. I will link up that scene in the show notes. It's unbelievable. I find myself more and more watching old Sopranos clips. Tyler says he looks like Meathead. Oh, yeah. Great scene. All right. So that is the update. Speaking of that, yesterday at about 1,450 calories, 1450 into the day, I stopped eating. And now the problem is I stopped early. I normally eat till 7, 8 o'clock at night. This is 6 o'clock. It's at the hockey game. They had some barbecue. And so I had a few chicken wings, and I had about 4 ounces of pulled pork. And that put my daily caloric intake in that range, which is, again, in that sweet spot, 7, 6 to 8, 5 to 800 calories under the daily requirement. That was closer to 900, though, because I'm supposed to get like 2,350 or something like that. I just keep it under. It's good to go. And so then I get home. Now, this is where I could get into trouble. If I walk past that pantry with the sugar cereals, which are still there. And boy, I wanted to. Oh my God. And I came in and I pumped myself up. I wrapped my mind around the idea when I was pulling in the driveway. I go, get in the house, go to bed. Feed the cats, go to bed. Do not hang out in the kitchen. And I was successful. Marched my ass upstairs. And there was no, I did not, my wife calls them a frenzy. Like when I go on one of those frenzies, oh, it's like, look out. I'll knock back 2,000 calories just like that. The big takeaway here is, I always talk about it being less fat, but the big issue is the diabetes. I cannot get the beatus, which runs in my family. Rebecca says, who else in your house eats sugar cereals? Wouldn't it be easier to just not buy it? Well, I don't. Pooh Bear and the NFK eat it. Shmoo Money says you're going to lose about a pound of weight a week at that rate. Hopefully you're getting enough protein to maintain muscle. Yeah, I'm getting north of, I'm keeping track of that too. It's all protein. Pretty much all I eat is protein, very little carbs. I'm getting north of 100 grams a day, sometimes as high as like 120, 130. So that's kept me from being hungry. There's some new recipes that I'm going to try, too, that I'm stoked about. The key is having meat ready to go. So I'm constantly firing up that Showtime, set it and forget it. Getting chicken meat. I always have chicken meat ready to go. Nick says, be careful with too much protein. It can be hard on a kidney. That's true. Shmoo Money, who seems to know things about this, aim for your ideal body weight in grams of protein. 165 pounds, 165 grams. I thought it was 0.8 per pound. That's the math that I was told. So basically, if I'm like, let's say I'm at 182. I don't know my weight right now. You go 182 times 0.008. No, that's not right. 182 times 0.8. That would be 145.6. So either way, I'm getting not enough. I'll have to up it. But I know it's falling off of my face. I can feel it. Nick says, I think it's 1 if you're strength building or training. Okay, that makes sense, which I am not. Other than maybe going for the occasional walk. I'll incorporate it, but I'm doing the old Jeremy K, one thing at a time. He is the model for all success. But I'm liking it so far. Trump is fucking in the news. Oh, my God. I need to talk about several Trump-related things. Some I like. Others I do not. Thing number 1. There's been a lot of talk about Trump and his trying to stop the influx of drugs coming into this country. And you've been seeing a lot of the shots of the drug boats on the ocean just getting blown to pieces, which I'm not going to lie, it's one of my favorite things to watch. There is talk now that, and I don't know how reliable this is, Trump says he will expand strikes on narco-terrorists to land. So, I mean, he did say that, so I know that happened. But does that mean he invade? Does that mean we invade Venezuela? Is that what's going on here? And I don't hate that. Piano Finger Banger says, by drug boats, you mean fishing boats. Well, is that a thing? Has he blown up fishermen? Because I had not seen that. Has the U.S. blown up fishing boats? Colombian family first known formal complaint over deadly U.S. strike in Caribbean. Now, I don't think this was a fishing boat. this was a drug boat. So I don't see any. There's zero hits that come back to me. Wait a minute. Family of Colombian fisherman killed in U.S. boat strike files complaint alleging he was murdered. All right, so maybe this is the one. And first I've heard of it. I am guessing that the Trump administration, let's just say, for the sake of this discussion, that a guy who's just standing there on the deck of the boat, he's a fisherman, and the next thing you know, he's blown to shit. I would definitely want that investigated. Rebecca says the problem is that they're blowing the boats up with no sort of investigation, and now there's a chance that Hegseth can be tried for war crimes based on how these strikes were executed. I'll see if this sheds any light on it.
Libre.
It's just a compilation of boats getting blown up. Well, anyway, Trump spoke about this, and this is what he had to say.
Mr. President, if you are declaring war against these cartels and Congress is likely to approve of that process, why not just ask for a declaration of war?
Well, I don't think we're going to necessarily ask for a declaration of war. I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country.
The matter-of-fact nature of, no, we don't need a declaration of war. We're just going to kill people that bring drugs into the country is, I'm not going to lie. I don't hate me, and I don't care if you do or you don't. I say whatever I want. I kind of like that.
Just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country. Okay? We're going to kill them. You know, they're going to be like dead. Okay? Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay. How can you not be supportive of that? We're going to kill the drug dealers coming into our country. They're going to be like dead.
Okay? We're going to kill them. You know, they're going to be like dead. Okay? Yeah.
A moment ago, you said that if Secretary Hegseth went to Congress and briefed them on the operations
No, we
against
will
these,
go, I said.
You will go. And
We
it would
will
be
go.
difficult
We're
for them
gonna
to
go.
object.
I don't see any loss in going. No reason not to. You know, they'll always complain, oh, we should have gone. So we're going to definitely, I'd like to just tell you, let's go. We'll go.
And Mr.
We're going to
President-
tell them what we're going to do, and I think they're going to probably like it. It's been so effective. And our sea drugs, as they call them, they use the term sea drugs, the drugs coming in by sea, are like 5% of what they were a year ago, less than 5%. So now they're coming in by land, and even the land is concerned because I told them that's going to be next.
Mr. President.
So I'm trying to punch a hole. Why should I not like this? Why should I not be absolutely going, yeah? What's wrong with that? Piano Finger Banger says there's zero evidence that any of these boats were carrying drugs. Well, I'm guessing that all the evidence at the bottom of the sea. So are you suggesting they're just blowing up people that are going on boating trips? Bob says never a war crime the first time. Bread Bull Brain Chris says they've already picked out the admiral to take the fall. Piano Finger Banger says blow up first, ask questions later. Rebecca says you can't be all about blowing up drug boats and then turn around and pardon a guy who smuggled thousands of pounds of cocaine into the U.S. Yeah, that's a problem. Skip says, I love that he is straightforward. That's refreshing. I think that is the big thing that people love about him the most. More people love that than the ones that don't. I know I like it. I mean, I'm not talking about all the other things that I should have a problem with because they are there. But when it comes to this moment right here, there is nothing of this that I don't love. Donko says you got to be a badass when dealing with bad people. Stevie says so true to Rebecca. Patrick laughs at the crack. They are going to be like dead. To Piano Finger Bangers comment that there's no proof that they were drug boats. Nick, the electrician, says, oh, sure, that camel-painted boat with 6 outboards full of barrels and bales are just out on an innocent pleasure cruise. Okay. Well, if that's the case, like if that's what I didn't see that. Maybe you did. I'm not arguing with anybody here. I'm just telling you that if this is the case, if they're blowing up drug boats, and let's put it this way, if 9 drug boats are blown up and one is mistaken to be a fisherman, that's horrible, and reparations should be made to the family. But the U.S. was put into this place by people trying to get drugs into the country. You can't really blame somebody for being aggressive when trying to fight, right? I mean, I think that makes sense. Piano Fingerbanger says, because a boat has barrels on it, that means they're drug smugglers. Give me a break. Man Bun Chris says, release the files. Yeah, we're still waiting on those. Shmoo Money says, agreed. Every American should be for this. I'll be totally straight with you, too. When it comes to if all the drug boats get blown up and a fisherman gets blown up, I don't care. I don't care about that. Bread Bull Brain Chris says, I hate to sound like a lefty, but we are a nation of laws. Tyler says, quote, in Trump voice, these will probably be the best killings ever, actually, if you think about it. Stevie says his approval rating is 36%. He sucks at this. That's true. Low approval rating. But if people said to me, Easy, what do you like about Trump right now? I would say nothing except this moment right now. Rebecca says, again, he pardoned a known drug trafficker because that dude has money and statute. He can be of use to Trump. Absolutely. Stature, I should say. Because the dude has money and stature. That might be 100% right, and that's terrible. Bread Bowl Brain Chris with a great comment. Slide to your right, Easy. We need to see Darla's squishy face. Oh, she heard me. She's crashed out. Hey, how you doing over there? You big girl? You big girl? She's like, shut up, I'm sleeping. Slide to the left. Slide. Crisscross. Everybody clap your hands. Every hockey game. I hear that. Every hockey game. I do not like this about Trump. This next clip. There's a lot of Somalians that live in Minnesota. So he is taking aim at the Somalians. Now, there's no, I mean, if I'm going to stand here in front of you all and say that I love that he's blowing up drug boats, I'm also going to say to you that everything you are about to hear is a racist rant by the President of the United States. Listen to this pile of shit. It is kind of hilarious. I don't know why I laugh at these, but it's horrible. I shouldn't be laughing at these racist comments.
They contribute nothing. I don't
He's talking about Somalis. They contribute nothing.
want them in our country, I'll be honest with you, okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country is no good for a reason. We're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage.
She's the representative or senator, I don't know, member of Congress from Minnesota.
Her friends are garbage. These aren't
A Somali.
people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain.
Fuck. Yeah, you see, it's moments like that. It pains me to actually like anything that he does when moments like that happen. Badger makes a horrible comment. That's his. Your comment is also a racist comment, and you can't be comfortable saying what's wrong with this. Get serious. You know as well as I do that's a horrible. You're old enough to know better. Come on. You can't indict an entire ethnic group of people that happen to live in one particular area of the United States. He wouldn't dare say that about like the Arab communities. You should not be comfortable with saying that publicly, Badger. Come on now. Rebecca says, this is the thing. Everything he does is rooted in racism. I'd bet a lot of money that if the drug runners were white and Canadian, he wouldn't be blowing their boats out of the water. Maybe it's a lot of woulda, coulda, shoulda, but I suspect you're right. Tyler says, can you imagine if a reporter said, tell us how you really feel, Mr. President, in these types of moments? Becca Shea says that Badger needs a timeout. All right. If I get a second on that, I will sit Badger down for racist remarks. You can't do that. Come on now. You got to understand, too, I've spent time with Becca Shea, like in a public place. So she's got to, okay, that's it. You're in trouble now. You have earned a timeout for racism. You can't be butthurt about it either. You're just going to have to take your medicine right in your asshole and accept that that is nonsense. I don't know how the timeouts go on Twitch, if I have to do it manually or what. But, you can't, what do people say all the time? Saying the quiet part out loud. Like, you can think that, just don't tell anybody that. You know what I mean? You can't be busting out racist cracks in my chat. Rebecca says, I just wish the reporters would push back, keep pushing back, and don't let them sidestep. Becca Shea says, Badger is proving my theory that all MAGAs are racist. No, I can't say that. Like Alan here, he loves MAGA. He's not, he says he's not a racist. Nick says Becca Shea needs a timeout for trying to silence free speech. Oh, for God's sake. Here we sure, I'm going to ban everybody. I'm going to give everybody a timeout. Donko says some MAGAs are racist. So are a lot of Democrats. Can you be racist if you are anti-white? So if you're a white Democrat, and can you be racist to white people? Like, can you be self-racist? You know? I don't know if you can do that. Show mom, Megan is here. She says, I walk away for 1 minute. Piano Finger Banger says, is that like Race Inception? Great movie. Christopher Nolan. Did you guys see the story about Quentin Tarantino and his favorite movies? He was on a podcast, and he gave his like favorite movies, and several of his favorite movies are my favorite movies, or I would say I love those movies. Let's just go to number 1, Black Hawk Down, which isn't that set in Somalia? Mogadishu, right? The Battle of Mogadishu. Directed by Ridley Scott. I remember, what's the guy's name? Tom Sizemore. He was doing a press tour for this film. And he was in it, and I got a chance to talk to him. Played a great part in that movie. Tom Sizemore, great actor who got caught up in drugs. Just too many drugs. Tarantino says this is his all-time favorite movie. His second all-time favorite film is Toy Story 3, which I don't think I've seen. But Tarantino says the last 5 minutes of Toy Story 3 ripped my fucking heart out. And if I even try to describe the end, I'll start crying and get choked up. It's just remarkable. It's almost a perfect movie. And we don't even get to talk about the great comedy bits, which are never ending. I think the people who made it I think people never nail the third film of a trilogy. I think the other one is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly to me. So the film Toy Story 3, which I don't remember. I don't think I saw that. I saw the first one, and I saw the one with Prospector and the cowgirl, Daisy. And Prospector was played by like Kelsey Grammer. I don't think I ever saw the third one. And frankly, I'm not going to. Because I don't want to weep. That's not why I watch movies. That is too much for me. Jessie. Yeah, I thought Jessie was cute. Tyler says Woody says so long partner to Andy. Is Andy like going off to college or something? Or is he dying? He's dead? You can tell me. I don't care. I'm not going to watch it. Yep, college. The film Lost in Translation, directed by Sofia Coppola. Bill Murray, never saw it. He loves it. Dunkirk, Christopher Nolan, 2017. I loved this film. I remember the first time I saw it, Tarantino said he didn't like it when this movie first came out. But he had to watch it many, many times. Hidden gem in there is the performance of Harry Styles. Solid actor. All right, number 5 is like when I saw that this is Quentin Tarantino's one of his top movies, it made me happy because it's one of my favorites of all time too. And that is There Will Be Blood with Daniel Day-Lewis, who I think is, I mean, it's top 3 actors of all time. His commitment to the method style of acting is ridiculous. And he's truly fantastic in any role that he's in. I don't give a shit what it is. And the only part is, I don't know if you ever saw the film, but there's a guy in the movie that he plays 2 parts, actually. He plays the twin sons of Daniel Day-Lewis's character, and his name is Paul Dano. And Tarantino says there's a giant flaw in the film. The flaw is Paul Dano. He doesn't like his performance. I thought it was fine, but Tarantino knows how to make movies. Zodiac, which is about the serial killer, directed by David Fincher, never saw it. Sounds great. Unstoppable, directed by Tony Scott, no idea. Mad Max Fury Road 2015, directed by George Miller, part of a franchise. Shaun of the Dead. Looks fun. Zombies? Midnight in Paris, directed by Woody Allen, never saw. Battle Royale, Kinji Fukasaku. So what he points out in the podcast is that the writer of Battle Royale should have sued Susan Collins for the Hunger Games, because he says, I do not understand how the Japanese writer didn't sue Susan Collins for every fucking thing she owns. They just ripped off the fucking book. Stupid book critics are not going to go watch a Japanese movie called Battle Royale, so the stupid book critics never called her on it. And they talked about how it was the most original fucking thing they'd ever read. As soon as the film critics saw the film, they said, what the fuck? This is just Battle Royale except PG. Another film, Big Bad Wolves, never saw. Jackass the movie is one of his top 20s. Holy shit, Jeff Tremaine. School of Rock with Jack Black. I love that movie. Great fun. I like that Tarantino, again, Mount Rushmore of filmmakers, likes these stupid, silly movies that regular people like me would like. You know, he's not like an artsy-fartsy fuck. The Passion of the Christ, never saw. The Devil's Rejects, directed by Rob Zombie. I heard Rob Zombie does a bang-up job on his films. Some film called Chocolate. No, wait, I don't know what the fuck that is. Moneyball. Oh, my God. I can't tell you how many times I've been laying in bed and I just pull up clips from the show, from the movie Moneyball. Very well written. I love the performance by a guy. He used to be fat, and then he got skinny, and now if you tell him he looks great, he gets mad. He actually had to speak through a publicist and say, no more talking about my body. He was on Superbad. Jonah Hill, that's the guy. Great actor, but he's a fucking psycho. What kind of asshole is disgusting, loses a bunch of weight, looks great, you tell him, and he goes, oh, don't! Fuck you! Anyway, he's wonderful as an actor, but as a human being, he's full-on R-word. And, of course, what's the other guy's name? Brad Pitt. Man crush all the way. Playing the part of Billy Bean. Cabin Fever, directed by Eli Roth. I don't even know what the fuck it is. And then West Side Story. Steven Spielberg made a film adaptation of the musical in 2021. I'm out. I do not do musicals. I don't think I've ever tried. About the closest I've come to a musical was, and that's a good point. Someone looks like Red Bull Brain Chris referenced The Bear Jew, which is from Inglourious Bastards. Great movie. If you want to add to your own list, by all means, I want that interaction. I would love that. Thank you. Closest I came to a musical was the film Grease when I was a kid. And I didn't even know I was watching a musical. I saw a Broadway play once with Pooh Bear. We went to see Beauty and the Beast. I'm like, this is horrible. Why am I here? This sucks. South Park movie, says Cole. Superbad was Jonah Hill's best movie. It was a great movie. Gangs of New York. Bill the Butcher, yes. Tyler says method actors are cocks. Probably. Nick says Dunkirk was boring as fuck. I think what you have to do, you have to wrap your mind around the filmmaker. And I know that sounds hoity-toity and ridiculous for a film, but Christopher Nolan is right up there as well. And the themes that he sticks with, usually time itself, are pervasive throughout all his films, and it's kind of like up to you to figure it out. Nick says, I hate a musical. Black Belt Nick says, Phantom of the Opera, movie made with Weber, is phenomenal. No, it's not. Bread Bull Brain Chris says, I had Broadway GR season tickets for 10 plus years. Love a good musical. Come on. Man Bun Chris says, what's Ben Glaze think about all this? He's a movie buff. Piano Fingerbanger says, isn't the Blues Brothers technically a musical? Yes, you're right. That is an exception. Probably because the music is great. Which brings us to Steve Cropper. Blues Brothers Band, Booker T and the MGs. He wrote Midnight Hour. He wrote Sitting on the Dock of the Bay. Longtime Blues Brothers Band member. Performed with Sam and Dave. Dead at 84 yesterday. R.I.P. Steve Cropper. I am guessing no one in the chat knows who Steve Cropper is. I sometimes wonder the things that I talk about that no one has any idea. And I firmly believe that that is one of them. In the Blues Brothers, he was a long-haired guy that played guitar. But only an old person who's got soul would know that. And finding an old person with soul is sometimes hard. I don't know if I'm going to find that person. Opie and Anthony only became a thing because of a Sitting on the Dock of the Bay song parody. Oh, you're talking about Gonna Electric Shock OJ? Anthony made this song with his brother. And then it was featured, I believe, on the Stern Show. That's how that got started. I'm going to play it. How come I can't hear?
1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm sitting in Los Angeles jail, and the judge won't let me post my bail. Now this could be the end of me, 'cause California's got that death penalty. They're gonna electric shock OJ, cook my behind like a chicken croquet. They're gonna electric shock OJ, toast my behind.
All right, that's all you get. It's 3 minutes long. Bob wanted me to play the actual video. I can't do that. There's all sorts of inflammatory things on there that would probably make people very unhappy. So no, I don't want to play the video, asshole. I have a story for you that it's fantastic. I'm just going to play it, and then we can all talk about it. It's really sensational. An old guy in Michigan here is, there's a lot of good things happening for him. Hang on a second. It's got to load up. I hate that. You get the spinning wheel of death. This comes to us from Brighton, Michigan. As I'm buying time, hoping that it loads up. It's a very popular story. It's viral. And the background is an influencer from overseas, I believe in the UK, maybe, who has quite a following.
When people help people.
And tonight, the community is stepping up to help an 88-year-old veteran who works full-time at Meijer.
He was recently interviewed by a TikTok influencer, and that clip has gone viral, capturing hearts across the country.
7 News Detroit reporter Brett Cast shows us how one touching video could help this hardworking man finally enjoy retirement.
Well, it was here at the Meijer in Brighton where this social media influencer from Australia showed up in the checkout line because someone online had told him there was a man working here in his 80s that he just had to meet.
It came out of the clear blue, and I really, truly mean that.
It's been quite the 48 hours for 88-year-old Ed Bambus, who has suddenly skyrocketed to internet fame.
Just seeing if I could have help scanning this.
The video of him working at his job at Meijer has now been seen by nearly 4 million people on TikTok, but Ed isn't one of them.
I doubt you've been on TikTok or Instagram or any of the social media stuff.
I've never been on those programs. I don't own one of those fancy cell phones.
His charm is just part of what made this video go viral. His story is the main reason.
Retired from General Motors in '99. 2012, they went bankrupt, and they took my pension away from me.
Oh my gosh. Do you have a wife?
The guy interviews him and gets his story in the store.
2012, they went bankrupt, and they took my pension away from me.
Oh my gosh. Do you have a wife?
She passed away 7 years ago. I try very hard to go to her gravesite every day. And say hi.
Well, how important is that part of your day for you?
It helps me get through a day. It does.
With debt to pay and his pension gone, Ed went back to work after having thought he retired for good.
No 88-year-old in America should have to work because they need to, and that breaks my heart.
Sam Wiedenhofer is a positivity influencer on social media in Australia and heard Ed's story from a comment on one of his videos.
She said, hey, I just want to let you know there's a guy called Ed, or I think she may have even said Bob, and he's around 82 years old. That's all I knew.
So Sam booked a flight to Michigan and teamed up with a Metro Detroit-based influencer to find him.
So we walked around Meijer for about 2 hours, and we were looking for this friendly, jolly older man, and we ran into Ed at the checkout. We knew it was him right away.
The video has led to the creation of an online fundraiser, and donations are now pouring in from all over the world. The goal is to help Ed retire for good, so he can instead spend more time with those he loves.
I just wanted to give him a chance to like retire, you know, or at least have some comfort.
The exact amount of money that has been raised so far for Ed is a secret to Ed, but you can check it out yourself by visiting his online fundraiser. We'll have a link to it on our website, WXYZ.com. In Brighton, I'm Brett Cast, 7 News, Detroit.
All right. So I found the GoFundMe. And right now, dude has raised, well, it's gone up since the last time I clicked on it 1 minute ago. $1,566,461. Oh my God. Holy shit. Look at this guy here gave 10 grand. People are giving just a few bucks here, a few bucks there. Jesus. This is one for the ages. I can't even say anything shitty about it. I probably will at some point, but oh my God. Nick writes, turns out he was the real animal mother in Nam. Some of you might get that reference. I want to hear those stories. Bob says still has his old ear necklaces. Scott says, let's get in cahoots and make some money. Wow. Yeah, I don't want to live in a world where, like, the influencer, like, this guy's an actor, and it's all set up. I think my faith in humanity would be destroyed if I found this out. I also love the fact that he doesn't have a newfangled device to find out how much money or even see the GoFundMe. I mean, they're probably, when they say, hey, we passed around our virtual hat and we got some money for you. You're probably going to kill them when you tell them that it's $1.6 million. But you know that the rest of the family probably is well aware of the dollar amount if with just a simple search I was able to find it or click on the link in the story. So you know the family is well aware. And you know there's probably folks coming out of the woodwork for the old timer. Hey, it's been a long time since I saw you. How's it going? Boy, we should hang out more. Nick says every Meijer has an old sad sack at the door. What makes him so special? There is a guy at the Mutant Meijer who, I am not kidding you, every time I see him, he is more hunched over. Like when I first started seeing him, he was upright, and something's gone wrong. And this is what he is now. He's completely bent over. Hey, look. And he'll look at you like this. Hey, welcome to Meijer. And I'm like, fuck, dude. Yeah, come on in. He's like in that movie Shallow Hal, where that fucker's walking around on all fours. Bread Bull Brain Chris says some scammer's going to have him cash all that in for iTunes gift cards and send them to Nigeria. We could do a whole show on people at the front of Meijer. Tyler says the one at my Meijer's a real dick. I would never allow him to be portrayed in a positive light like this. What's up, O'Neill? I think he's got to go potty. I think he's about had it. The singing greeter is the best. Is that guy still a thing? Welcome to Meyer. Thank you for coming to Meyer. I want that gig. He's gone. When you say gone, you mean is he gone or gone? Gone is, you know what I mean. Megan is very in tune on the local scene concerning these things. She says he's not at Meyer. I don't know about his heartbeat. Well, anyway, I thought that was an outstanding story. God, I had a couple jokes about it, but I think they've all been said. You guys are so on top of it now. I am going to go ahead and bring Badger back. Oh, he is back. He is back. Wait a minute. Untime out Badger. Okay, he's back. He's back. Yeah, no more racist shit, asshole. That's awful. That was a racist comment Trump made, and you know it. You can't be racist here. That's horrible. I'm trying to establish a contingency of black audience members. Hell, you start with one, and that would be Kevin. I love my Kevin. Kevin is salt of the earth, salesman extraordinaire, husband of Becca Shea, and an Ohio State Buckeye fan. Not that I care about Ohio State, but I'm just giving you the background. And I wouldn't want to upset him. I mean, that could have hurt him, and I don't want that to happen. Come on now. If an audience member of mine is married to a black guy, and generally everybody here is not racist, and you say something horrible about black people, I mean, you're saying something about people that I care about. You can't do that. Come on now. He says, asshole of the day, Trump. There you go. Now you're thinking with your brain. All right. Before we get to the asshole of the day, thank you to Kuiper Tree Care. They're found at KuiperTreeCare.com, Kuiper, treecare.com. Something falls down, they'll clean it up for you. I don't know how much they're working now that the snow is everywhere, but it's important for me to keep them on your brain so that when you're planning on getting rid of a nuisance tree, or you want to trim your trees or whatever it may be, call upon Kuiper Tree Care or text 616-828-8225. Finally, you have till December 15th to get your ducks in a row when it comes to your health care if you are a recipient of healthcare.gov insurance policies. The Affordable Care Act. You need someone to go over your policy before December 15th, which that is when open enrollment ends. And get after it, because if you're just going to go from the 2025 policy and let it roll over to 2026, you're probably going to get stuck paying a lot more than you should be paying. So have Frank take a look at it. Real simple. Go to appointmentwithfrank.com. That's appointmentwithfrank.com today. Your asshole of the day is Trump. You know, I wanted to like him because of killing drug dealers. I'm all for that. But, I mean, I'm sure there's some wonderful Somali citizens who are just sweet people. You can't, it's just too far. Just too far. We can't have that. Nick says, asshole of the day, fishermen getting in the way of drone strikes. Thank you for being here, ladies and gentlemen. I'll talk to you on the Patreon bonus podcast. You're the best. Careful. Very, very cold here in West Michigan. It's cold where you are. Be careful there, too. Okay, thank you, and bye-bye.